Since you scrolled past me at this time, you should all be lying in bed by now, right? And if I guess correctly, right now you must be lying on your side, with your legs crossed like a pair of scissors. If I guessed wrong, then just pretend I didn't say anything. All right, let's not chat too much and get straight to today's topic. The man in front of you is named Awei because when he squeezes toothpaste, he always likes to squeeze from the middle, while his wife insists on squeezing from the end. Over the way they squeeze toothpaste, the two argued fiercely. In the end, he was rightfully kicked out of the house. Cursing and swearing, he came to the wilderness alone. Inadvertently, he found a large tree struck down by lightning, and it just happened to span across a small stream. Suddenly, he had a flash of inspiration and decided to use this crooked tree to build a shelter. The first thing in building, of course, is collecting the necessary logs, since he stepped on dog poop right when he left home. After just a few steps, he found a few large trees that nobody wanted. Immediately, he pulled out his large pocket knife and wildly chopped at this big tree. Thanks to learning the Pythagorean theorem in school, he easily brought down this big tree. Obviously, this has nothing to do with the Pythagorean theorem. To make carrying them less strenuous, he sawed all these logs in half, then used vines to tie them together. This way, the overall length of the logs is halved, and carrying them saves half the effort. Turns out this guy is quite smart, just a bit too smart for his own good. In just 2.5 hours, he collected enough logs. Then he placed the logs at a 45-degree angle and made marks on them. At this time, it suddenly started to drizzle. To avoid getting soaked like a drowned rat, he quickly took out a raincoat to cover his backpack. Of course, he had to put it on himself too, just for show. Next, he chiseled grooves into the logs at the marks, because he wants to use a mortise and tenon structure to build a frame. To avoid messing up prematurely, a small hole needs to be drilled at the joints to facilitate the subsequent installation of wooden pegs. Fortunately, these logs are very hard, and Awei's drilling was also quite a struggle. An hour later, the rain stopped. His clothes had already dried completely, and he finally managed to drill through one hole. We don't know how many years we're just tying it together with rope over there. But Awei is a very patient man. After a bout of soft and hard tactics, these logs finally surrendered to him. Now the construction work can officially begin, because he prepared in advance. Now he just needs to place these logs into the appropriate positions, then drive in the wooden pegs to assemble them. After working for ages, he realized they were placed backwards. Having no choice, he could only inch them over little by little. After dozens of knocks, the other half of the frame was also successfully assembled. Of course, this isn't over yet, because he plans to build a suspended wooden cabin, so the floor underneath also needs to be assembled. At this time, Awei's operations obviously became more proficient. The construction work proceeded in an orderly manner. In no time, he completed the main frame. Next is the construction of the 4 joists. Awei brought over a few logs to compare. Also using the mortise and tenon structure for assembly. Is also very strict about the control of details, trying his best to ensure every fitted together. The joints also need to be fixed with wooden pegs to make it stronger, since he will be living here long term. He also needs to install a few crossbars between the load-bearing pillars. This way, not only will the load-bearing pillars having a better load capacity, it can also further enhance the stability of the frame. Thick and sturdy frame looks very solid. It's simply a house passed down for 3 generations. The people Awei also carefully checked every single joint. After confirming everything went nearby, and found a dozing big tree, then used a handsaw to communicate with it further. After his earnest and patient persuasion, the log finally let go of its stubbornness. Then he gave the log a full-body exfoliating service to keep their surfaces forever smooth. After doing all this, he used logs to build 2 sawhorses on the ground, then moved the thick log end by end on top of them. This way, when processing the log won't wobble or shift. Awei first marked out the necessary parts and then followed the marks to saw off all the excess parts. The other sides underwent the exact same operation. After all 4 sides were sawed, he obtained a perfectly square wooden beam, because he needs to use this wood to build his walls and floor. Further processing of the wooden beam is required. Again, marking it first. Next is just applying brute force and leaving the rest to miracles. As time passed by, gradually he got a whole pile of wooden planks. Right now, the surface of these planks is still very rough. Considering the overall appearance of the shelter, they certainly can't be used directly. Awei brought over a hand plane to polish these planks one by one. Planing, unknowingly, as if just in a flash, time quietly arrived at the afternoon. In order to finish building the shelter before dark, Awei involuntarily sped up his work. After all the planks were polished, the construction of the floor had to be rushed too. He laid the planks flat on the joists one by one, then again, used the method of wooden pegs to fix them in place. Near the pillars, Awei also carefully cut out appropriate notches in the planks to ensure the floor could cover every single corner. The excess parts sticking out at the edges, of course, had to be trimmed flush. The roof planks were the same, using wooden pegs to secure them, just that to increase waterproofing. They had to be overlapped methodically from bottom to top. This way rainwater won't flow into the house through the construction of the side walls. Of course, had to be exceptionally meticulous, making sure not a single gap is left. Otherwise, while sleeping at night, if someone saw his bare naked body, wouldn't that be a huge loss? A loss so big that not even a pair of underwear would be left. But places that need to be open still must be open. Windows, of course, are absolutely essential. Otherwise, the inside of the house would be pitch black all day. That wouldn't be any different from lying in a coffin, except one is buried and the other is suspended. Now it came to the construction of the front. To leave a space for the main door, Awei used logs to build a door frame. The rest was just copying the pattern and laying the wooden planks. Now the roof and walls were fully completed. Then he brought over a thick tree stump and started hammering and chiseling away at it. Before long, he carved out something resembling a pig trough. Of course, this isn't meant for feeding your friends, because he decided to repurpose these two useless sawhorses and place them on the shelter's balcony. Now, you all should have guessed what this is for. Fire safety in the wilderness cannot be neglected. He mixed dirt into mud and smeared it evenly on the inner walls of the wooden trough and obtained a simple grill. Since it was already getting late, and his stomach had long been rumbling with hunger, the rest of the construction had to be delayed until tomorrow. Right now, nothing was more important than filling his stomach. He was seen digging hard in the dirt. Before long, he found a large handful of earthworms, looking so soft, plump, and tender. Don't cringe just yet. These are just Awei's fishing bait. Next, he casually pulled up a bamboo pole. After trimming off the excess branches, this was a top-tier fishing rod. Looking at his skilled operation, he definitely must have sneaked out behind his wife's back to go fishing off. And honestly, using wild fishing gear to catch wild fish, the results were immediate. Soon Awei had a bountiful harvest and walked back beaming with joy. After returning to the shelter, he quickly lit a firewood fire and prepared to make today's dinner. After eating and drinking his fill, he went back inside, comfortably enjoying this tranquility. Before long, he peacefully drifted off to sleep. When he woke up the next day, it was already noon. Awei immediately continued with the remaining construction work, because right now the top of the door frame was completely exposed on the outside. Rainwater would fall directly on the door and could flow into the house, so further waterproofing needed to be done above the door. After the waterproofing work was done, he started making the door panel. He first left a finger-thick cylinder at both ends of the logs, then assembled the frame of the door panel. Each joint was drilled and fixed one by one with the frame. The installation of the door panel was very simple. He measured the dimensions first, and after sawing off the excess parts, the wooden planks could fit tightly inside the door frame. Where the gaps were wider, he had to hammer them to make them fit snugly. Then he drove in wooden pegs from both ends. With this sturdy door panel, when sleeping, he could close his eyes in peace. He also conveniently installed two fully hand-carved handles for the door. The windows couldn't be left out either. Then came the construction of the balcony railings. Because Awei had pre-drilled the holes, now he just needed to drive in the wooden pegs to install them. Because this shelter is his secret base, next time he gets kicked out by his wife, he can still come live here, considering long-term use. Awei was very meticulous with the installation of After the railings were installed, there were still many unused logs. Awei thought he absolutely couldn't waste them. After all, he hauled them back with great effort, so he used the remaining logs to build another wooden ladder. The construction of the shelter was fully completed here. At this time, the sun was gradually sinking in the west. The afterglow grew dimmer and dimmer. Awei, exhausted from 2 days of labor, quietly prepared today's dinner. All around was peaceful and quiet. There was only the babbling sound of the flowing stream, as if all fatigue had been gently carried away by the breeze.